Welcome to Honestas. This is the seventh episode in my Uprooting Passion series, and I am here today with Frank. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Frank.
So nice to finally meet you. I
Yeah, me
believe
too.
that we connected through CJ, who's also a
Yeah,
photographer in
yeah,
Phoenix.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a pretty cool dude. I love his work.
Yeah, he did a photo shoot for me, and um, I love his work too. So very
Wait, so you
cool.
used to live in Arizona? You used to stay here?
Yeah, so I was there up until I came back to Rome. So I studied in Rome for like 6 months, and then I went to take care of my grandma in Arizona for like a year and a half, and decided to come back to Rome to do more school. So,
Mm.
but I was in Mesa for like a year and a half, and I actually really loved it out there, and I miss it. So I'm
You love
jealous.
Arizona?
I like the nature. I
Oh,
don't
the
know
nature.
about the
Yeah, I can see that you
people.
used to like hiking around here. That's all we do here. Like
Yeah,
all people do is
exactly.
just hike because there's nothing else.
Yeah, and I grew up in Chicago, so like I've never seen mountains. So for me, it was like so cool to be living in
Yeah,
Arizona. So I love it
definitely.
out there. And you're in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, fitness. Yeah.
And how long have you been in Phoenix?
I moved here 2013.
Okay.
2013, yeah, because I used to stay in Houston like before. Yeah,
Oh,
I used to
okay.
stay in Houston, yeah, for like a couple years.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. So real quick though, a little background. You're a photographer in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Can you just start by giving a little like background about your family and yourself?
Uh, so I was born in Africa, Congo. Yeah, the Republic of the Congo, and my whole family were born there. We moved here like 2007 because of a war. Just need a
Hmm.
better life. Yeah, so we moved in Houston first. So we were there a couple years. That's when we moved out here to Arizona. Yeah.
Cool. And can you tell me a little bit about what it was like
Back
growing up
home.
in Congo? Yeah.
Uh, so I came here when I was like 5 or 4. So I only remember like couple things, just like me hanging out with my grandma. Just going outside. I can barely like remember how we looked,
Yeah.
but this my grandma tells me stories, and I start getting flashbacks.
So your grandma's in the US now or still in
Yeah,
Congo?
my whole family is
Okay.
here. My whole family, my grandma.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of like very whitewashed to like my culture. So
Uh-huh.
like if I meet somebody that's like my people, they will kind of like see me kind of like he think this
Yeah.
all American. Yeah,
It's like
So I
an
think that's
identity
wrong.
crisis because you were like, I'm sure to Americans, like people are like, wow, that's so cool. But then like if you go
Yeah,
back home, they're like, no, like you're not
why? Yeah,
the yeah.
per se.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know too much about culture in Congo. Like, is there any traditions or things that you still do with your family that are very much so deep rooted in your culture?
The food,
The
we still
food?
food, the accent food.
What's
Yeah.
like your favorite dish?
Fufu. You heard of fufu?
Oh yeah, I've heard of fufu. I've never
It's
tried
like
it, but
a
I it
black.
looks
It's like
good.
white and like it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Yeah. Use your fingers to like grab it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hmm. So, can you talk a little bit about your work now? You're doing photography.
Yeah. So I started photography like freshman year, like second semester. I wasn't really like taking it serious. I was just because my friend had a camera and I used to just like hang out with them and just play around with it. And I was
Yeah.
hanging out with him for like a couple years, and so every time I see him, I'm always with the camera because he just wants me to take photos of him. Yeah, so like I just got a habit of like I guess just picking up a camera, and that's when I got a job. That's when I bought my first camera. Yeah, and that
Nice.
was sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year of high school.
And prior to that, you had never done any photography.
Nah. I started looking at videos, just YouTube videos, really, and just and just trying to like call the air, just trying to see like what it is. Cause I always thought photography was just like just photos. It's not really like nothing deep to it, but like it's like a whole another you know.
Yeah, and that's, I was like stalking your page before our talk
Yeah.
just to kind of look at your work. And it's funny you say that it started as something fun for you because there's something so deep behind your photography. It's not just like commercial photography or something like for businesses. It's very deep and meaningful, I'd say. Can you talk maybe a little bit about what your style is or the inspiration behind how you take your photos?
So with street photography, all I do is just because downtown Phoenix. I don't know if you've been to downtown Phoenix. There's a bunch
Oh,
of homes.
yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
that's all you see there. So like I used to go there and just like just photograph what I see, and that's all I really see. It was not really that much like people just regular people working. They're all like just homeless people there. So that's really all I saw. So I just started photographing that, and I did some research on it, and then I didn't even know street photography was like a whole thing. I just all I thought was, oh, there's portraits, weddings,
Yeah.
but I never really knew like street photography was like, you know.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
you just organically, naturally started doing it and then
yeah,
realized it was a thing. That's
'cause
probably
I'm
the
like
best. Yeah.
I was so like very awkward to like approaching someone and asking them, "Hey, can I take photos of you?" And like a
Yeah.
model, cause I don't know, I just thought like my work wasn't like that good to like
Uh-huh.
take photo of like a model. Yeah, so like I don't know, I feel like it's just easier asking somebody that doesn't know me, like just a stranger.
Yeah. I had it written down like one photo that was really interesting to me was your photo and it was captioned Angel in Disguise. And I was wondering if there was any story
Oh,
behind it, possibly.
to be honest, I don't know how to answer that. You just did I can
It just happened very naturally.
because I
Yeah.
seen him and I just seen like he just looked like he was like on his last breath, and
Yeah.
you know that's all I really thought about. I was like enjoying the skies because
Yeah.
never really know who is.
What's like what would you say is the biggest challenge you face with photography?
With photography, probably finding what photography I want to do. Cause when I
Hmm.
started doing it, I used to like shoot, like landscape, and I didn't like that. It was pretty boring. I was trying to do weddings, but I was very like awkward, just like what I said. I didn't want to be all into like a lot of people. That's a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
I just started taking photos of like stuff I like, just anything that catches my eye, and then I'll just start doing that. You know.
Yeah. It seems like you're very drawn towards people, but like in a much more authentic sense. Because I get what you're saying. Like, there's something very, I mean, you can be a phenomenal photographer with a model, and of course, it's going to look amazing. But what you do is real people, you're capturing real situations and things
Yeah.
that probably most people either see on an everyday basis and just walk past or just don't even
It's
think
homeless
about.
people,
Yeah.
n- like out of 3 days, I'm pretty sure nobody really approached them and like asked them for a photo. So like if somebody comes up to me like, "Can I get a photo?" That just makes their day like 10 times better. Even money, like a photo, I feel like a photo can go a very long way. For them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I feel like there's also a difference between coming up to someone with a professional or a professional camera and a certain type of demeanor as opposed to like you see all those bloggers today where they're like, "Oh, I gave $10 to this homeless person." They're sticking an iPhone in their face. It's like
Yeah,
very like dehumanizing. I think what
yeah,
you do is like the opposite. It's very humanizing.
yeah. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep bugging you about your culture, but is there anything about the work you're doing now that you think maybe relates to your childhood or your culture?
Uh, Not really, but nowadays I wanna like put my culture in my photography because I feel like that's part of me, you know. So I gotta show it, and that's why nowadays I'm starting to shoot like models, just like I said, like as more like as I shoot, I get more comfortable with like my work. It's like
Yeah.
now I'm trying to like put that into my
Yeah.
work. At first, I didn't really know how to like put like my culture in it. I never really got that question. Like I never really knew how to do it. You know?
Yeah. I think it's something totally worth looking into also. And it sounds like you were really young too when you moved, but you'd be surprised how much by 5 years old your environment and your culture has made an impact on you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, I always like talking to people about it because they say by like age 12, you already know who your sense of identity is, how you view yourself. That's when we like know,
That's
oh,
very
I want to be a veterinarian, or I want to do this. And even probably before you picked up a camera, there was probably something about your childhood or your upbringing or your culture that brought you towards people or brought you towards, photographing people's struggle.
12. That's young.
Yeah. And
My
that's like,
mom my
uh-huh.
mom had her first child when she was 14. So like
Wow.
12 and 14, that's not like a big difference. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So something that I am trying to do with my brand is basically, obviously, we're in the age of AI now. We're no
Yeah.
longer the age of technology. We're in the age of AI, and a lot of people are scared of it. A lot of people are fearful of it, and it's reasonable. It's completely reasonable. But I am trying to reinstate the human spirit per se in art and really everything we do so people don't forget that that's never going to go anywhere, that it's not a matter of bots becoming humans but humans becoming bots, us becoming
Especially
more.
the photos, the AI photos, they're crazy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? They're like so real.
Yeah, so that was actually one of my questions, was how do you feel about AI entering the field of photography?
Nah, it's crazy. Just like I was saying, like the photos, like you can't even really tell if a person actually took it. Like, it's very scary. But I feel like with
Yeah.
photography, you can never really steal somebody's work. Like, I feel like you can never copy it. It just, doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah. That's what I think too. I think like in what you do with taking photos of real people, AI could never duplicate that.
yeah,
When you look at an AI generated photo, like as a photographer, can you tell that it's AI generated? Like, is there always something that kind of
nah,
gives it away?
especially those,
No?
especially those, what is it? Those graduation photos. Those senior photos. You can't
Yeah.
even at all. Yeah, it's just
Oh,
probably
because
like
what's the.
probably mouth
Uh-huh.
area. It's it looks so real. Have you ever shot a film? It's
No.
I just started learning it, and it's like the hardest thing ever. It's like a whole nother world compared to like digital. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like if somebody wants to like start off like when wants to like start doing photography, I feel like film is like the best way to like start off because you learn everything from like
Okay.
because even me, I was
Ah.
to like because you have to like master the whole like settings. Because you don't really know what you're taking photos of until you go develop it. So
That's
like it's
so true.
very hard, but you learn.
I
Wow.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you recommend starting with that. And I would say, like with film, you have to really make every shot count, probably. So
yeah.
you're going to put more thought into it.
And my photos be so ass.
So currently with photography, are you working as a photographer or?
So right now, I just matter of fact, I just actually got my first paid photo shoot a couple of days ago. Yeah, Thank you. Yeah, so like yeah, I'm trying to do like more like portraits of like models. I want to get my name a little bit out there. Like yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think the way that you started with taking photos of people on the street and real people is going to make you such a great photographer when you start
Thank you so much.
photographing models.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And so we talked about AI and like it's so realistic, but I mean, you also talked about film. What advice do you have for maybe people entering photography or just artists in general to be more humanistic in their work?
Just shoot anything you see. To be honest, that's really all I do. Even at home, I just be taking photos of my grandma just sitting down or my mom cooking. You know,
Hmm.
keep taking photos. You learn while you shoot. You know.
Yeah. So you live with your grandma and your parents?
Yeah, my grandma used to live in Houston, but she moved out here for us
Does
for a
she
little.
tell, it sounds like she tells good stories, or you kind of mentioned that at the beginning, maybe she tells you about maybe
Yeah,
before in Congo, yeah?
crazy story when she was young. She had her first kid when she was like 12. And that's like, yeah,
Wow.
in Africa, it's very like normal to like have a kid at a young age. That's like, I don't know, it's like their goal, like
Mm,
girl. That's like your goal to like have a family, you know? Yeah.
okay. And
So
now
like,
is that like cultural or is there also religion involved?
it's kind of culture to be honest.
There's more culture. Okay.
But I don't think they still do it nowadays. I feel like that's kind of like some old, old type of stuff.
Have you been to Congo since you've moved? No?
I haven't, but I would love to go there. I want to go there so bad.
Yeah, but you still have maybe some family there or no?
Yeah, I have my mom's sister that lives there. Yeah,
Okay.
there, yeah.
Is there any stories that your grandma tells you that like stick out in your mind?
Like a story. She just tell me like how like free she used to like live in Africa. Like, 'cause in Africa they don't really have like you don't have rent, you don't have nothing. You know, you just gotta like get food. That's all you have to worry about, just what you gonna eat. So I feel like they live so free out there, and like compared to now, less stress. Yeah, that's the story she be
Absolutely.
like. We just two different worlds. Me now, you know, have all these bills, work, have you know a career I wanna, chase. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked to a lot of different people from different cultural backgrounds, but like I lived with my grandma, my nonna, for the last year and a half in Arizona, and where she came from was pretty much the same exact situation. Like it's just survival. And it's very human. When you say like as humans, we're really only supposed to just eat and breed and survive. No different than like animals really. And
like
so it's just so crazy when people actually live that and then you talk to them and you compare it to your life. It's so different.
I feel like we make life very complicated when it's not. We
Yeah.
baggages on top of stuff.
Absolutely. So your grandma, she had her first kid when she was 12 years old.
Yeah.
How many kids does she have?
I think 13. I think 13. She had 13. Yeah.
13. Wow. So you have a big family.
Yeah. But in Africa, that's very normal to have a big family. Like my mom has 10 kids. Not 10 kids. I'm lying.
Uh-huh.
10 kids.
So you have nine siblings.
I have 9 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Youngest. I'm the baby.
You're
Yeah.
the baby. Oh my gosh. Is that
Yeah.
like the best or worst thing?
I feel like they feel like you can't do nothing. I feel like they just see you as that baby, as a little kid. Yeah,
Wow. So then y your oldest siblings probably lived a lot longer in Congo then.
yeah. He remember everything because he's around like
Yeah.
he's 7. It's pretty old.
Okay.
Remembers everything. Yeah,
Wow. And everybody lives in Phoenix now, or
all live in Phoenix.
wow. So everybody stayed together, like
Yeah.
stayed in the same. Wow. So in your culture, is there like a strong family
Yeah,
emphasis? Yeah.
it's really like important in our culture. Like that's really all we have, Even back home, like the villages, like everybody's like they're all together. And like if somebody needs food, they all share. It's a whole family. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Was there like any culture shocks that you think you ever experienced, like in America, or were you just too young to ever differentiate?
uh probably with like I don't know just restroom, cause like when we came
Yeah.
to the West, people used to ask to go to the restroom. I found that very weird. Like, I have to go to the restroom. I gotta go use the restroom. I just never really got that whole. I gotta ask, to go use the restroom.
That is very weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like,
Seems
well,
like it's just something you should just be able to do. Yeah. Do you speak another language? What's your first language?
I speak Swahili, and
Okay.
Nyamurenge is my first language, but I'm not really good at it. But I normally speak Swahili to my parents.
Okay. So do
Yeah,
you still speak your other
yeah, my
languages or
parents,
not?
they're not really,
Yeah.
they can't really speak English, so like I have to
Yeah.
like speak, you know. I really gotta
No,
have a
but
choice.
that's probably why you're so like creative though, because I think that it is like almost necessary to speak more than one language. So that's really good that you can speak more than one language.
You too. Wait, how
It
much?
is. It seems like your culture is very much so still alive in your life then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. That's all I really see at home. There's always my mom cooking crazy food, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And how do your parents like your photography?
My mom, yeah, she does, but I don't really. Now I'm starting to actually talk about it because at first I just thought like they just thought it was just a little like a passion, not a passion. It was just a hobby. So
Hmm.
I like brought it up, but now they're very like in tune with my photography. Yeah.
Nice. And you said you photograph your family as
Yeah.
well.
My mom always taking photos of my mom. She be all mad.
Oh,
Photos that people in the house. Yeah.
that's so. I'm glad you do that. I mean, it's really sad when culture gets lost. Like when culture gets lost, like through moving or just generations, and your whole family is still together, which shows just how strong, of a culture and family you are. And then by you taking photos, you're keeping your culture alive just as a memory, capturing the memory. So that's cool. From where you started as a freshman in high school to where you are today, how do you think you've grown the most?
Probably with like my confidence in
Mm,
work, because before I was very, I don't know, I never really like if I approach somebody, I wouldn't like bring up my work, like I wouldn't like want to promote my work, but nowadays, you know, I'm getting a little bit confident.
that's key. That's key. If there's any goals that you want to reach or like a certain point you want to get at in your work, like as a full
Uh,
time or something.
yeah, probably get a full time job, but I really want to go to school for photography, like in the future, cause
Hmm.
I'm very like I'm always in my head with like, should I go to photography for school? Is it worth it? Like I really
Yeah.
go to school for like photography in the future.
Okay.
I feel like it will kind of like push me a little bit. I feel like when you shoot by yourself, you really got you really got your own self to like push you. Like you don't really got like creative people around you. You know, people like pushing you. You know, yeah,
Yeah. And that's also cool because you're already such a good photographer, like naturally, and you've already figured out and taught yourself so many things on your own that if you were to go to school, like you'd probably be like in like top of the line photographer. You'd be teaching the class, like they'd be like, "Why are you here?" Like, are you like trying to start your own kind of business or your own kind of brand?
yeah. I just wanna build my name out in Phoenix, not even Phoenix, just everywhere. Uh,
Yeah.
I really want to like surround myself with people that create, just taking photos. There's a bunch of photographers here. I don't know if you know of them. Like the dude that took photos of you. What's his name?
CJ.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Like I feel like people like that. They really push me to like
yeah.
a lot of artists in Arizona. A bunch of creative people. You know.
Awesome.
I don't know. Photography. It's very like it's very lonely. I don't know. Like I get bored with like always taking photos every day. It's like I'll kind of like go off with. I just started learning how to sew, like making clothes. Cause like
Uh,
yeah, it's very annoying just taking photos. You know, I just like spaced out in a whole different something that
that's so cool. No, that's really cool. And like, I don't know who I was talking about this. Like, you should never be good at just one thing. Like, I think people who are really, really good at one thing are also really good at a lot of other things. So, if you're really good at taking photos, there's a good chance that you'd be really good at making clothes. Like, the fact that you have that
yeah,
artistic
I'm not that good.
brain.
Like, I'm still in the basics with like
Yeah.
learning because I made my girl a purse, so that's all I can make right now. Just purses.
Like, do you, like, how did you make it?
It was just from flannels, basically flannels. I just ripped flannels and just made them into a bag.
Well, there you go. You can start recycling fabrics,
Yeah,
making clothing items, and you can be the photographer for it to market it.
I got my own business right now.
You got it. You got it all. You got it all. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Any advice to photographers?
for photographers, just keep shooting. Really, just shoot anything. Even like if you don't like it, just shoot different type of photography. I mean, different type of like projects. You know, just even if it's like if you don't like weddings. For example, me, I don't like weddings. I don't want to shoot a wedding, but in the future I want to because I want to like I don't want to be in a whole bubble. I want to like expand.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't want to be just shooting one or two things. Yeah, just shoot a bunch of different type of
So
art.
be open. Be
Yeah,
open.
open. Yeah,
Be versatile. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you talking with me and
thank you so much.
sharing your story, sharing just some of your insights. And again, like hearing you talk about, I feel like one thing that I noticed with you is just like everything that you do, it comes so naturally to you. Like that's such a gift. Like there are people who just like it. You're just like, oh, I picked up a camera and I started. Oh, I just made a purse out of flannels. Like you make it
Nah,
sound so casual. Like that's so awesome. Like I
nah.
hope you realize that you're truly gifted and can probably do anything that you put your mind to. So that's really cool.
Thank you for like you very like you may really helping me show my work. You know, if
Absolutely.
like this, I feel like this very help out like people that's very coming up with like art or like even like podcasts. You know, like this can really help people show their name. You know, thank
Absolutely. Yeah. And so with that also, please check out Frank's photography. I'm going to put
you.
the link to his photography page in the bio as well as in the article. This will be on LinkedIn, Instagram, and here on YouTube. So please go check him out. And if you're in the Phoenix area, hit him up. He does super cool photography. So
you so much.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
with that, that is this episode of Onestus. Thank you all. Ciao, ciao for now.